What's going on there, guys, and welcome to F1 Fresh. The sports industry can sometimes lead to great controversies. Athletes are always under great pressure from the media, and if one thing goes wrong, their whole reputation will get torn to pieces. This way, many people in the sports industry tend to go the easy way and build connections that will help them succeed without all the hard work that goes into it. In this nepotistic industry, a great number of people also get tumbled under the mess, which is exactly what has happened to racer Lewis Hamilton. It's quite evident how his career has deteriorated as a result of the FIA's injustice, and people are completely shocked by it. Here's everything about how Lewis Hamilton's career got destroyed by FIA president. Number 5. Lewis Hamilton's career got destroyed by FIA president. Lewis Hamilton has won multiple awards throughout his life, and he was just a second away from getting his hands on the 8th championship title. But unfortunately, that chance was taken away from him by the controversial event that took place at the F1 Dubai race. However, the racer continues to remain silent and has only made 2 public appearances ever since the event. One of them being his knighthood ceremony, and the other one being his appearance to bid farewell to Mercedes-Benz's former teammate Valtteri Bottas. Lewis Hamilton could have easily won the 8th title if it hadn't been for the safety car restart ensured by FIA's own race director Michael Masi. The director decided to play unfairly and changed FIA's own rules to fit the success of Lewis's competitor Max Verstappen. He allowed a safety restart on the final lap of the race, which granted a huge opportunity to Max for winning the entire race and snatching the title away from Lewis. Initially, Lewis could have easily won that race and gotten the title of the 8th championship for himself, but it was the director's own unjust decision that made him lose that title. This led to complete silence on Lewis's side. He even disappeared from social media and had switched off his accounts for almost 2 months over the winter. It took him a while to get back to the public when he attended the Mercedes car launch in 2022. It was his first appearance in front of the media since the Abu Dhabi incident. But before this, he didn't mention whether he would be quitting the F1 Mercedes race, which left a lot of fans waiting on a cliffhanger. There was great anticipation on their side, and fans were nervous about Lewis quitting a sport that he has great passion for. Fortunately, when he returned to the 2022 Mercedes launch, it was made clear that he won't be quitting. He stated, "Of course, I think at the end of a season, you think about the future, and the question is whether you're willing to commit the time, the effort it takes to be a world champion." He explained that many people might not understand what it takes to be a racer, which is why it's always easy for them to reach assumptions. He stated, "I think a lot of people underestimate what it takes to be a world champion, and there are so many moving parts. It's not just turning up and driving the car." Number 4. Lewis Hamilton loses faith in the system. For anyone who has a great passion for their job, the incident at Abu Dhabi's event is something that's enough for them to lose faith. It's obvious that Lewis's courage might have been greatly affected, as it takes a lot of bravery to accept the kind of scandalous nepotism that took place there. There must have been a point where the expert racer lost complete faith in the system and decided to quit all at once. While there was that thought for a while, Lewis preferred to keep a different mindset. He stated, "So the question is, do you want to sacrifice the time? Do you believe you can continue at the weight you're punching? And so, that's a normal mental process for me." Of course, this one was compounded by a significant factor, and I think ultimately for a sport I loved all my life, there was a moment where I obviously lost a little bit of faith within the system. He continued, "But I'm generally a very determined person, and I'd like to think to myself, while moments like these might define others' careers, I refuse to let this define mine. So I focused on being the best I can be and coming back stronger." It's quite brave on Lewis's side to hold on to his passion despite such an unfortunate tragedy. However, he certainly proved that it takes a lot to be a racer, and simply quitting isn't always the best option. Moreover, there was great support for Lewis as well. Fans clearly saw through the injustice that took place that day, and that prompted a great response. Luckily, there are changes being made that will ensure no such events take place in the future. Number 3. FIA's former director being removed. Ever since the FIA's former director Michael Masi made the decision to allow a safety car restart, he's been receiving great criticism. Due to the outrageous response, careful consideration is being taken by the authorities in charge. Michael Masi has since then been fired from his position, and the system is more vigilant in making the replacements now. A thorough and strict place will be followed for the placements in order to take pressure off race control. However, despite the major changes being made in the system, Lewis is still hesitant to put his complete faith in that system again. Quite evidently, this only makes sense since the incident took a huge toll on Lewis's career and it nearly destroyed his reputation. Being a high-achieving athlete for years and then suddenly being robbed of that title can bring great stress and depression. This is why he's quite skeptical about placing his trust in the same position again. He stated, "I'd probably put faith and trust alongside each other. Trust obviously can be lost in the blink of an eye or the flick of a finger, but to earn trust is something that's built over a long period of time." This first announcement yesterday is perhaps the first step toward that, but it doesn't necessarily change everything just yet. We have to see actual action. I think it will take a bit of time. I'm not really focused necessarily on that area at the moment. I'm just putting absolutely every ounce of my energy and time into making sure that I'm the best you've ever seen. Number 2, Lewis Hamilton coming back stronger. FIA's former director might have come closer than ever to destroying Lewis Hamilton's career, but it turns out that Lewis is stronger than ever. Given the fact that his future in the industry was quite uncertain, there was no telling whether we would see him ever again. Moreover, since he's decided to return since the Abu Dhabi incident, there is a possibility that he might not be the same on the racetrack. But Lewis thinks the exact opposite. He has a positive mindset about returning and has even warned his competitors. He stated, "I feel great, I feel fit." Naturally, when you have an extra year of experience, that always helps. I always feel like, through these sorts of experiences, you can turn that emotion into strength and power. It's what I'm doing, putting into my training, into my work with the men and women here. If you thought what you saw at the end of last year was my best, wait until you see this year. Number 1, Lewis Hamilton on receiving the 10th position at the GP Saudi Arabia. While Lewis Hamilton might have entered 2022 with high hopes, it turns out that the Saudi Arabia GP had other plans for him. After receiving the 10th position, Lewis considered him receiving the 10th place as a result of gutting. He stated that his team is a long way from returning to the front. Lewis Hamilton is one of the greatest racers in the industry, but ever since the F1 incident, his career has certainly taken a toll on him. This brings us to the end of our video, which we hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did, do let us know by smashing that like button, and if you wish to be notified of more content like this going forward, then do be sure that you subscribe to F1 Fresh, and do remember to hit that bell icon so that you don't miss out on more content like this in the future. Bye for now, and see you later.